Punta Cana, and Cap Cana specifically, are what I think some people, myself included, wish Cancun still was, and the Hyatt Zilara is the perfect example of that. I'll explain why as I give you a tour of this beautiful resort on one of the most stunning beaches that you'll ever see. By the way, did you know that the exact price that I paid for every flight or hotel room is always in the description? Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, and some of the not so best, airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for the past 4 years. Check out my hundreds of videos, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to learn more about how I do things. Let's get into the tour. Cap Cana has been called, by someone at some point on the internet, the Beverly Hills of the Dominican Republic. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but at least within the Punta Cana area, it is certainly where you'll find some of the nicest resorts on offer, which is why I'll be reviewing not only the Hyatt Zilara, but also the Secrets Cap Cana, which is practically next door. The reason I compare it to Cancun is I think it is attracting a similar group of guests, but things here are just a little bit more chill. There are no ongoing security concerns, the prices are a little bit lower, the touristy kitsch is a lot lower, but the beaches and the infrastructure are as good or better. Even though I've been reviewing resorts and flights full-time now for years, I even struggle sometimes to tell the difference between Hyatt's 8, soon to be 9, maybe 10 or 11 depending on how you count, different all-inclusive brands. Having so many of them is still a strategy I don't understand. But Hyatt has been buying them up for the past 5 or so years as if they were shopping at the dollar store. Hyatt Zilara, along with its sister brand Hyatt Ziva, are Hyatt's 2 original homegrown all-inclusive brands. Zilara being for adults only, Ziva being family friendly. For all the hubbub though, there are currently only 4 Zilaras with 2 more in the pipeline. I hope they consolidate some of these brands soon, but I won't hold my breath or take up any more of your time explaining them. Let's take a look around the open-air reception area and focus on where we are now. Zilara Cap Cana opened in December of 2019 in tandem with the Hyatt Ziva, which is just next door, each with 350 rooms. Now, if you saw my Dreams Punta Mita video from some months ago, you may be wondering, oh no, is this going to be another one of those needlessly confusing brand integrations again? And the answer is a resounding no. The 2 resorts, while directly next to each other, are truly separate properties. If you didn't know what Ziva was, you could spend a week here and not realize there was another resort attached. There are 2 big benefits to this. First, if you're looking for a true adults-only vacation, then you really can find it here. You won't hear kids laughing or crying in the distance, I assure you. The other benefit is that guests from Zilara can also dine at Ziva's restaurants, giving you a total of 12 dining venues along with 13 bars, lounges, and cafes. The check-in and check-out procedures are cleverly separated, with check-ins taking place at the desks on the left as you enter, and check-outs on the right. If you're Hyatt Globalist or you booked a preferred club room, you'll check in here at Bongos Club Lounge, which not only is an additional bar available just for those guests with top-shelf alcohol and snacks all day, but it's also a nice air-conditioned spot to wait if your room isn't ready yet. In the main lobby, you'll find one of the resort's bars as well as a coffee shop serving up coffees, sweets, and snacks all day. I'd imagine a bit of confusion about the layout might have set in already, so let's take a look at where we are a bit early today. Punta Cana is in the far east of the Dominican Republic. Cap Cana, where we are now, is a small enclave separate from the city and the popular strip of hotels, a short ride south from the airport. Here's the full property. This is Zilara and Ziva together, with this part here being Zilara. You can see the resorts are a mirror image of each other, with different grounds layouts and designs. Two things I'd note of. First, that's secret Cap Cana just up there. And secondly, to reinforce my "you won't hear screaming kids" comment, there is a full water park as part of Ziva, and it's all the way back here, a very clever design. The combined resorts are a product of architect Ken Shannon, who is the in-house architect for Playa Hotels and Resorts. They were originally the opening partner for Hyatt for these two hotels, but Hyatt has now also bought them. I think both properties benefited quite a bit from an in-house architect who knows all-inclusives well, because they are a bit of a different animal to design. Quite a few of the all-inclusives designed by quote-unquote regular resort designers sometimes feel like a cattle call, since it would seem they don't quite understand that the thousands of guests staying here are actually going to be here all day long to take advantage of their all-inclusive stuff. So the property needs to have enough space for all of them to breathe. One of the perks of the preferred club access here is access to a private club pool, which was well placed to be convenient but also sheltered from the rest of the resort with the landscaping. Further towards the beach, we have the primary swimming pool, which I can't help but include some golden hour shots of. Resort stays like this truly would not be possible without your support on Patreon. Hotel and flight videos simply make money in very different ways on YouTube. So if you appreciate these kinds of unsponsored videos, please consider checking out my page. You could also help the channel continue to grow by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or joining my YouTube channel memberships. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. The pool has a swim-up bar, and the resort does have a limited number of swim-up rooms available also. I know many would prefer that resorts be completely smoke-free, but I give them credit here for at least elevating the smoking zones so that, in theory, the smoke would waft away without bothering other guests. And now onto the beach, the glorious beach with sand so white it might hurt your eyes to look at it in direct sunlight. All of this that you're seeing here is the beach just in front of Zilara. It is massive, and by the looks of things, Zilara has many more loungers on offer than Ziva, with absolute endless space for the resort to set up more chairs during peak periods. That said, if you think this beach is gorgeous, wait for my secrets review. I'll let you have a wander around. For lunch, I headed to Shutters, which is only available for club guests for breakfast and lunch, and for anyone for dinner, and is beachside on the south end of the resort. When possible, I always include menus in my videos, but all-inclusives just have too many of them, and they're often only accessed via QR codes, so I'd refer you to their resort-specific site. You cannot access this from the normal Hyatt website. If you scan the QR code, you can open it on your phone and then copy it over to your computer to make it easier to use. On that site, you'll see all of the restaurants and bars with their full menus, the activities of the day, a resort map, and much more. For a starter, I had the classic fish tiradito, which was incredibly fresh and bursting with flavor, and fridge cold as it should be. 9 out of 10 for this. I also ordered the quinoa and chicken salad, which is on the bites menu, so I thought it would be a bite smaller, but it was actually a substantial portion. This was coming in at an 8.2 out of 10. Some other options for lunch would also be the Pizzeria Presto, the Pier Buffet, which we'll see later, or Wave Steakhouse. Keep in mind there are also other options available for lunch at Ziva. Alright, let's go check out my room. I booked a standard Junior Suite King and was upgraded to an Ocean View Junior Suite King with preferred club access. The rooms are bright and mostly neutral, with a few vibrant pops throughout. I thought it was a good mix and designed for the adults-only side. As we take a look around and look at the extra bits, a quick rundown for globalists visiting Zilara, or basically any of their all-inclusives. It's not that your normal benefits don't apply, but the systems here are built in a way so that there's not really much worth to them. For example, looking for a standard suite upgrade? Well, guess what? Even the cheapest room here is called a junior suite. If you book the lowest category, don't expect a best available upgrade. I think something like what I got is much more typical, if available. When you check in, you'll be given a welcome letter explaining your benefits, which are different from the standard preferred club benefits. I had researched this prior to arriving and knew that some laundry was included for globalists. Let me tell you, I travel 4 to 6 weeks at a time with just carry-on baggage, so free laundry is the holy grail of perks for me, and I was on the lookout. I was accidentally given the preferred club letter instead of the globalist one. This wasn't a problem, but it will explain what I had for dinner. You'll see. Everything in the minibar is free, and they are not shy about restocking. That afternoon, I opened up a can of Pringles and popped a Nature Valley bar in my backpack for later, and after dinner, I came back to this. The actual benefits on top of the preferred club ones are 2 p.m. checkout, 10 pieces of laundry, and 20 to 30% discounts on many things like the spa and complimentary cabana access if available. I don't know if this was just my room or all rooms, but be very careful with the safe. This would have been a very different stay if I had tried to put my laptop in here. The bathroom is extra large and open plan with double sinks and a lower vanity in between. Finally, we have the oversized balcony and incredible view. Okay, let's go check out the options for dinner at Zilara. Again, you'll have Shutters and the Pier, plus Journeys, which is their Indian restaurant, and a bit, over-designed, at least for the adult side of things. There's also Brando's French Tahitian, with the same comment for here. For me though, I much preferred the classic design of Wave Steakhouse. Now, about that letter. When I was in my room, I called to ask about the free laundry. They said it was explained in the letter, I said I had the wrong letter, etc., etc. It was a very basic conversation. The duty manager ended up bringing the correct letter to my room. He asked where I'd like to have dinner and insisted on personally making a reservation for me. Okay, nice touch, thank you. I got to dinner and was again greeted by him and then introduced to the restaurant manager and the chef asked if he could prepare something special for me. Sure, I said, as long as I can start with the tacos and the watermelon and mint smash. The tacos were short rib and were decadently rich for a taco. Delicious, but I was glad that they were small, 7.9 out of 10. Then I saw something out of the corner of my eye, a fire to be exact, and I knew exactly what was about to happen. I was brought out a platter of food that could feed a family of 7. To say this was over the top, considering we can trace it back to a piece of paper, would be an understatement. That said, it was delicious, the part of it that I was able to eat at least. Overall, an 8.8 out of 10. Let's take a look at some of the bars on offer and the entertainment space. When I finally got back to my room, a tray of truffles and wine were waiting for me. I mean, you really can't say that Zilara is skimping with food and beverage. For breakfast, I went to the Pier, which is the designated buffet for Zilara. The restaurant is huge with a variety of seating areas, and the food spread out in different stations. While the buffet in general was very good, there was one very annoying thing. every food station had sneeze guards, and you couldn't serve yourself anything. And no, of course, this was not during COVID. I can deal with no self-serve if there are staff to actually serve you. But early in the morning, even when there were a handful of guests, there were only 2 cooks running back and forth from station to station to give you what you wanted. It was just a very odd system. The food on offer, though, was impressive, with a variety to satisfy anyone. And much of it you could tell was made in-house. I think the spread itself deserves an 8, but their sneeze guard system will bring it down to a 7. Last up, we have the huge fitness center, which is spread across several rooms and is said to be fashioned after an old rum distillery. A different choice for fitness, but okay. So overall, I loved just about every individual aspect of my stay here at the Zilara Cap Cana. I know there are a lot of forums online discussing which is better to visit, the Zilara Cap Cana or Secrets. And I'll tell you which one I personally prefer during my Secrets review, since that one is also getting a pretty good score. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this resort tour today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my weekly resort and flight videos. I'll see you next time on Eat to Airways to Madrid. As always, thanks for watching until the end.